All right, here we go. Hey everybody, welcome in. Once again, I am the titular Adam, and welcome to this week's show. All right, so I've got some good news and I've got some bad news. The good news is I got another run in. I'll throw some stats up right here. As you can see, I did get slightly better distance than the last run. Used to be a little bit below 3 miles. This time is a little bit above 3 miles. So that's a great improvement. Very moderate, just a tiny improvement, but you know what? I'll take it. It was harder. It was a lot harder than last time. I don't know why. I've got a handful of explanations, but this was a hard run, man. Just 3 miles, and it was pretty grueling. And I'm not used to that distance being grueling for me, but this was grueling. If you're interested, my soundtrack for this one was the new Wet Leg album, Moisturizer, which I will link right up there. It's a cool little kind of lo-fi indie two-girl band, slightly crude rock. I don't know. I enjoy it. Another good bit of news, I did get to increase my weights in physical therapy a little bit. I went from getting my butt kicked by a 2-pound weight to getting my butt kicked by like a 5-pound weight, which is still a step up. I kind of added a few variations of rows, started working on a cable machine. For some reason, I spent a lot more time focusing on my lats, and that doesn't feel like a muscle group that declined significantly over the course of my elbow injury. You can see my cool new elbow sleeve. But it's what my physical therapist told me to work on, so I'm gonna let her be the professional for now. So those are my 2 bits of good news. I did get a run in. I did get some greater weights in. But the bad news, I think, for me, is that that's all. That in a week I did 1 run and 1 round of physical therapy. I certainly can do more. I've been cleared to do more. I have the time and the capacity to do more. I just didn't. And that's a little confusing for me. I'm not sure I have an answer there. I've got some ancillary possible explanations. It is god-awful hot here in Louisville right now. I don't know if you all are in or around Louisville, or if you've been seeing the heat wave that I'm sure is sweeping a much larger section of the country than just here. But it is god-awful hot. And it's really hard to run in that heat, especially when you're out of conditioning. But that said, I've run in uncomfortable conditions before, and I just chose not to this time. Part of it is inertia, just this idea that an object in motion stays in motion, and an object that is stationary stays stationary. And I've been stationary for a long time. And it's just really hard to get back into the swing of motion, you know? I've become unaccustomed to it. And I don't like that, but I recognize it as true. So that's certainly a thing that I need to overcome in the very near future, if I'm going to meet some of my goals. Especially if next June I'm going to cross the finish line on that Spartan Beast. I got to get off my ass. I realize I've still got a lot of time now, but inertia is inertia. And if I sit still for too long, I'll keep sitting still. So I need to get up and move a little bit now. I think part of it is I have some residual fear of re-damaging something, or even just of performing poorly, which is silly because there's no standard to which I have to perform right now. I'm just performing to my own satisfaction, really. I guess I do have to be careful of some damage with some activities, less with running, more with weight training. But I think it's just a fear of embarrassment, which is odd again. So I just need to get back on the proverbial horse and do something. So that's kind of where I am right now. The good news is I did a little bit. The bad news is that little bit is all I did. And I wish I had some resolution. I wish I had some upswing from that. But that's where I am now. So time to do better, I guess. That's all I got for today. Thanks for joining me. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more content.